Hello, hello, it's Coyote Christina, surfer, author, dream weaver. It is Thursday post here for the Amazed and Amused campaign. We are in week 8, quickly approaching the Lionsgate portal tomorrow, Friday on 8/8. It's 8/7. Yesterday we talked about the chakras and how the Lionsgate portal, the vibrational energy of the high and vibrational energy of the Lionsgate portal helps us open our heart chakra and our third eye chakra. But today we're going back to animal guides, and we're in the transformation stage of that journey to joy. Sharing from a book I'm working on getting published right now, Amazed, Amused, and Often Confused. So it's the Amazed and Amused book launch campaign. So on Tuesday, Totem Tuesday, we talked about swan medicine. I read from Amazed and Amused about the celebration stage as well as the graces. There's 2 sections of the celebration stage, which is the graces and the altar. We're in the altar right now, and supporting the grace, this section of the journey is swan, otter, dog, hummingbird, and horse. We talked about swan on Tuesday, but we will talk about otter, dog, hummingbird, and horse today. So today we will learn about otter, dog, hummingbird, and horse as we approach the second half of the celebration stage. The altar in the distance that grants us passage to the freedom, the greatest freedom there is, and that is freedom of self-determination. Our heart and soul are free to be exactly who and what they are called to be, without prescribed roles, no longer controlled by conditioning that coaxed us to bow to abusive power structures to make ourselves small and amenable. When we arrive on the shores of the graces, we have given ourselves permission to shine our light, to share our truth that upholds humanity, and to take up space unapologetically. So here we go, daily excerpt from Amazed and Amused. This is from the graces section, the introduction. With otter and dog medicine at our side, our second and third chakra energies are balanced and strong, able to maintain the state of grace we entered on the outstretched wings of swan. Soon a small burst of joy spontaneously appears, carried by the lightning-fast wings of hummingbird. We dance with the graces, levitating on the unseen wings of hummingbird, embodying a new way of being in the world that is not based in reason, that is not part of our ego. Having touched upon the peace that lies deep within, we learn the power of believing in things that cannot be seen, and the joy that is our birthright. We trust our intuition, and to balance the otherworldly medicine of hummingbird, the majestic medicine of horse gallops to our side, preparing us to approach the altar that can be seen in the distance, serving as a gateway to the life of our dreams and the second half of the celebration stage, where our journey ends only to begin again, and again. And so let's go into otter medicine. On the land and next to the sea, we embrace the feminine energy embodied by otter medicine. The stability of earth and the fluidity of water provide the support we need to let go of the judgment that leads to fear and false beliefs. We find strength in our vulnerability and know the unconquered power in the heart of bodhicitta. We know that this power can never be destroyed, but there are times when our bodies are tired and minds are unsure of whether we can survive another heartbreak. When we make it to the shores of the graces, we have made it through the heartbreak somehow, some way. We find that on these shores there is no room for jealousy in the wholeness of otter medicine. We have traveled to the core of our being. There are no more layers of fear to obfuscate the view, and the joy that is our birthright is uncovered. When the soothing and playful sleekness of otter joins us, our preconceived notions begin to wash away. We dance with the graces, letting down our guard, letting go of the narrow view of ourselves that at one time kept us in line, perhaps kept us alive. This narrow view can keep the parts of our being that have been deemed unsavory in solitary confinement for many years. We become preoccupied with being acceptable when we have been shut off from the truth deep within. Once we accept ourselves fully, being embraced by the arms of another no longer provides an escape from the life we feared, but rather affirms our right to receive the tender care and love we were denied at one time in our life if we did not obey, if we did not make ourselves amenable to the powers that be. And then we'll go to dog medicine. traveling great distances to track our, When we set foot upon the shores of the Graces, we are in a safe place to touch upon our vulnerability. We know we will not be abandoned because we have learned to show up for ourselves. In childhood, we may have learned that to show vulnerability was to show oneself to the pack of wolves waiting to pounce on the innocent flesh of a child when no guard dog was in sight. Cowards, predators who only look for those with little power, are no longer a threat when we enter the celebration stage and garner the prize of dog medicine. Traveling great distances to track our soul, there's no obstacle that can keep dog from returning to our side, faithful and true. This canine has made many trips to the gates of Hades and back, leading lost souls to freedom. Dog reminds us that the feelings of worthlessness are lying to us, that the overwhelming feeling of pain that at one time threatened to take our life can be forgotten on command. There's nothing that was said or done to the dear child within that dog medicine can't chase away. The lies uttered to maintain the silence that uphold abusive power structures do not hold sway once we learn to show our canines and call dog to our side, firmly standing on all fours, guarding our backs. When we are dependent on abusive or neglected power structures as children, we adapt and survive by believing the lies. As healthy adults, we do not believe the lies anymore. We never believed them deep within, but on the surface they were perpetuated, allowing us to function from day to day. With conscious effort, we unlearn the negative self-beliefs and untangle from the unhealthy coping mechanisms that allowed us to survive in times gone by, but that leave us feeling unlovable and unworthy deep within. Our canine companions can provide unconditional love during the times when there is not another soul in sight. The steadfast and playful presence of our furry friends is good medicine that not only protects our right to self-determination, but also invokes our playful side. As a single woman who has been pretty much lived on my own since January of 2010, I can attest to the bond you form with these furry, four-legged companions, especially when your closest relationships are unraveling and you find it so hard to trust others, mainly because you are so unsure of yourself and your place in the world when so much of what you wanted and invested in for years crumbles away. Love my doggy. You guys have met little Goosey Boo. He's sleeping right now. He's bored because I'm at home working and he just wants to play, and so, but he goes and sleeps, so he's a good boy. All right, Hummingbird. When we reach the shores of the Graces, we reclaim our birthright of joy. With Otter and Dog by our sides, we are grounded in our bodies, allowing Hummingbird to join us, uplifting our spirits and sharing the sweet nectar that sings praise with no judgment. We find ourselves immersed in Kairos, traveling at the speed of light while standing still. No progress needed, only connection, praise, and laughter. The medicine of Hummingbird is not of this world. If we're lucky, we'll be blessed with this medicine's otherworldly joy in moments and flashes along the healing path. And when we reach the shores of the Graces, we will be immersed in the vibrant joy of Hummingbird's presence. Subtle and powerful, protected by our power totems, we can relax and enjoy the dance of Hummingbird on these ancient shores, celebrating in community. Hummingbird is not familiar with the ways of the world and will dart away from anything brash. It is transcendent medicine, medicine that stops time with invisible wings. Time and space recede when our thoughts become one with the present moment and our actions are spontaneous and free. There's so much beauty to experience. There's so much love in this world. But when we experience lack, we are denied access to this abundance. And if we are not careful, we can be caged by the worst moments of our lives, held in captivity, not realizing the power of the present moment can set us free. And to wrap up today, we'll do horse medicine. It is on the back of horse medicine that we find the strength to continue in the darkest hours of our lives. This medicine carries us through so many stages, yet we often remain unaware of our inner strength, leaving the resilience deep within dormant, covered by ignorance and circumstance if we remain uninitiated, blanketed in layers of fear. When we arrive on the shores of the Graces, we have shed these layers and the celebration stage is ushered in on the grace-filled wings of Swan. We embody the tender, loving care of Otter by balancing our opposing energies, and Dog comes to our side, guarding this newfound union. We enter sacred territory when we arrive in the ancient land, and we discover a new levity in the presence of Hummingbird. We are compelled to dance well into the night under a star-filled sky, and the medicine of horse gallops to our side, serving as a powerful guide on many levels. To wield power in a way that benefits humanity, we call horse to our side. Horse is a physical power and unearthly power. In shamanic practices throughout the world, horse enables shamans to fly through the air and reach heaven. With horse medicine, we are connected to the wisdom deep within, and we train to summon unseen powers and bring them into our everyday lives. On the shores of the Graces, we celebrate our inner strength instead of shrinking from it. We take pride in the elegant power of horse medicine that encapsulates the potent energy of brute force that is directed by planned action. This power is not simply physical, but also infused with intent. We learn to harness the unseen power within to cultivate a world of peace, both in our inner and outer worlds. So that's the celebration, the first half of the celebration stage, and those animals that are helping us dance with the Graces, the lovely deities of joy and celebration on the shores. And tomorrow we'll talk about a little bit more about the chakras, give an introduction to the second half of the celebration stage and how horse takes us to the altar. For the second half is the altar. I can't believe I thought it was week 7, but it's week 8. So there's only one more week left. We're getting close here. So if you're enjoying the campaign, please subscribe on Substack as a free subscriber, and or go to my website, tkcdreams.net. Hit book launch, and you can do a pre-purchase of Amazed and Amused. Be one of the first people to hold a copy, a signed author's copy. If you buy during the pre-sale here in August, you will get a signed author's copy. So, all right. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.